Hey everyone, so I have just decided to put together a short video for you to work on strengthening and increasing the mobility in your wrists. For a lot of people, the wrist can be a very sensitive area and they find it quite hard to load into the wrist, to weight bear in the wrists. So hopefully these exercises will help to bring that strength into your wrist. I recommend practicing these exercises on a daily basis, especially if you are someone who has pain in your wrists already. I recommend doing it before any other form of exercise as well, so that you've prepared your wrist joint to be able to weight bear. For this, I recommend if you've got some sort of like tennis ball or a small ball, golf ball, anything at all, you can use that. But if you don't worry about it, it's not necessary. And then I do recommend using a couple of blocks or a couple of books, whatever you have, it doesn't matter. So for the first exercise, we'll come forward and we're going to work with wrist extension and flexion. Taking your forearm onto the block, fingers will stay spread, and you can place your other hand on top of your forearm to stop the bones in the forearm moving here. And we'll work with extending your wrists, pointing the fingertips down and pulling the fingers up. And as we move through wrist extension and wrist flexion, be mindful that the fingers don't bend. And always make sure you're not moving into any sense of pain through any of these drills. And you want to do about 5 or so of these. Once you've got about 5 of those done, take your palm flat and we'll work on moving the wrist from side to side, left to right. Once again, about 5 of these in either direction. Once you got that done, pause. You can shake out both of the hands, give them a little bit of a rest for a moment. And then if you have a ball, grab your ball and place it into your hand. If you don't have a ball, create a fist. Same thing. Make sure you've got a little bit of space there at the wrist so that you've got enough space for your fist to move around without bumping into your blocks or your book, whatever you're using. Create your fist, block out your forearm with your other hand. Create a little bit of tension by squeezing the ball and then drop your fist down. Slowly move it over to one side. Pull it back up towards you. Over to the other side. And back down. Change direction. And just notice how slowly I'm moving. And try to keep your rotations as slow as this. And we want to try to create as big a circles as we can, but making sure we stay within a pain-free range. So experiencing hard work is normal, but not any sense of pain. So if you're feeling any pain during these rotations, allow the circles to become smaller. You should feel a lot of work happening through the forearms here. Maybe it even travels up towards the shoulder, just dependent on your own body as well. Once you've done about 3 in either direction, 3 to 5 in either direction on both of your hands, come off your hands, roll out your wrists, give them a little bit of a break. Maybe you want to shake them out for a moment. You can set your blocks or your books aside. We'll do what I call finger flicks. Arms out in front, elbows will still stay straight, and you begin to flick your fingers in and out really fast. Keep going. And let's say you do for about 20 seconds, flicking the fingers forward. And then take the arms out to the side. Keep flicking the fingers. Keep going. Flick as fast as you can. Think about flicking the water off the fingertips rather than opening and closing your hands. About 20 seconds out to the side, and then take them overhead and go for about another 20 seconds. You want to go to the point where you feel your muscles starting to fatigue, and then continue for about another 10 seconds. Keep going. And then once you're done, shake them out. All in all, about 40 to 60 seconds of those finger flicks. Once you've got your finger flicks done, come onto your hands and your knees, palms flat, fingertips facing forward. How far over your shoulders are and your wrists will be totally up to your own body and to what kind of, if you're feeling any sense of pain, sorry, I lost my track of words there. If you're feeling any sense of pain in the wrists. So once you're on your tabletop position, fingers are spread. Pushing down into the fingertips, you lift the heels of the palms up so you come up onto the back of the knuckles, and you feel your thumbs will lift here also. And then slowly drop them back down. And you just work on lifting and lowering. You may have to do this just one hand at a time, that's totally fine. The closer your knees are to your hands, the less load you'll put on your wrists. The further your knees are away, the more load you'll put on your wrists. And do about 7 to 10 of these palm raises. Be mindful that the elbows aren't bending. Keep the elbows straight. And once you've got about 8 to 10 of those, come off your wrists, interlace your fingers, roll your wrists around, give them a little bit of a break. Go in both directions. And then come back onto your hands. And for the final one, bring your knees nice and close to your hands to begin with. And flip your hands around so your palms, both palms are turned up towards the ceiling and thumbs are facing away from you. The closer your fingertips are towards each other, the less load you'll have. And the further away you bring them from each other, the more load you have. Just as it is with your knees. The closer the knees are, less load. The further the knees are away from your hands, more load. With the fingertips pointing in towards each other, begin to open and close your hands. And we'll do about 10 of these. Keep going. Maybe let's say about 15 actually. And once you've got about 10 to 15 of these done, open the hands back out. Spread out through the fingers, allow your thumbs to connect to the mat. Keep the fingernails connected to the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, bend your elbows out to the side and sink your chest towards your hands. Push off the back of the hands to bring yourself back upright. Elbows out to the side, sink your chest towards your hands and push back up. Bend the elbows out to the side, push back up. And once again, maybe about 5 to 10 in these. You can build it up. Maybe you'll just start with 3 and build it up to 10. And then once you've done whatever amount you want to do of those, come back up into this position. Curl your fingers into your hands and then your thumbs over your fingers like you're trying to create a fist. Roll over the back of the knuckles and come up onto the top of the fists, keeping your elbows straight through this entire movement. Roll over the back of the knuckles until you're on the back of the hands. This is where the elbows might want to try and bend, so avoid that happening. Keep the fists in, roll onto the top. Roll over the knuckles, elbows stay straight, back up onto your fists. And doing once again about 5 to 10 of these. You might have to work one hand at a time, which is absolutely fine, and then build it up to be able to do both hands at a time. And then once you've done that, once again, roll out the wrists, both directions, a couple of times, maybe shake them out, and then come back up onto your hands and your knees once you're done. Just lower the wrists in this tabletop position, maybe add a little bit of movement. You can shift your weight from side to side, forward and back. And then off the hands. And just see how the wrists feel afterwards. If you're doing any of the exercises and you're not sure whether you're doing them right, or they just don't feel good on your wrists, if you're feeling pain and you make the rotations or the movement smaller and it still causes pain, then stop, skip that exercise and move on to the next one, or else contact me and I can go through the exercises with you and maybe give you some cues and tips that might help as well. Hope you enjoy and hope you have healthy, happy wrists after all of this. Namaste.